It's weird. I try not to think too hard about how the person who's being painted will feel, but inevitably you do. And so sometimes it's easier to paint people who wouldn't. I now sometimes think, oh, I hope I wouldn't hurt them, or I won't show them, and that's why I suppose I paint myself a lot, because there's no, and I've said this before, but there's no risk I'm going to hurt myself. You can't hurt your own feelings because you're the one holding the brush. And also there's such a joy, like that painting over there of me in the bath. I can go with how it feels to be me without any risk to my own feelings. For me, painting is often a place to empty out an experience or to stage the trauma or something. And I was in the middle of a breakup of my long-term relationship, and I was pretty depressed, and I thought, that's something I can do. I can manage that. I'd also been reading about another artist who'd done that, who'd made a lot of self-portraits, and I thought, well, I can do that. I can make one a day, and it'll anchor me in time. And the first one is the 1st of January, so that felt like a good place to start. And it was that, the standard thing in a funny way of, if you write a diary or something and you're depressed, it'll help you because you've done something in the day. I'd achieved something. I'd made a painting. And then, I'd made 2 paintings, and then I'd made 3 paintings. And then, by March, I'd made, quite a lot of paintings. And they were all gathering up in that bit. And then I started to kind of like just having them there, like the crowd of me's all kind of, and I could do one at night, and that was really weird. And I could see my face differently, and you could see what kind of mood I was in. And it was a really good sort of experience. It was quite therapeutic as well. The worst thing was, though, I was about halfway through making them, and an art dealer came and sort of started laughing and pointing at them, like I was in a kind of zoo. She was going, ha ha, just, they were so funny. And I was thinking, yeah, they're not really funny. they're quite kind of, they're quite dark, and it was quite a hard time. And yeah, it did anchor me though, and it was good. And then, there was a moment when you can see I'm starting to get less sad, and that was good. And I could see that in the paintings. I could see my mood lift, and I could see, I'm always standing up straight, because at the beginning they're really kind of, and then finally I've gone to New York, and it's summertime, and the colours are all really bright and yellows and stuff, and there's sort of sense, yeah, that you're coming back into yourself or something. I sort of suspended any idea of them being good paintings, so they were only for me, and it didn't matter how they were. They were the most kind of, they felt very free and not, they were exciting. Every time I made one, I'd see my nose differently, and bits of my face became characters in a drama, like this sort of wart here, or the shape of my chin. Anything could be a player, in each painting it would become either bigger or littler, and my face was the stage. So it was really great. And the furrow above here, that became, I could make it, it would be a black line or a red line or a blue edge, so I guess that thing of, if you reduce the components of a painting, each thing becomes bigger. And of course, in the act of painting, I was forgetting that I was miserable. So, you know, I was outside of that. It's funny though, misery, because you can't, when you're not miserable, it's very hard to remember. So the paintings, I look back on really fondly, and I just felt immeasurably better having made them. So that was amazing. It's a funny thing because you always paint the thing you're closest to. So, you know, when I had a baby, I painted babies. When I was very young and I wanted to have sex, I painted sex. When you always paint the thing. It's such an obvious thing. We all paint our desires, where we are. We paint where we are. I mean, whenever I've taught, I always think it's so funny because students are always doing that. And then they're always amazed when you're like, oh, are you experiencing X or Y? And they're like, what? How could you tell? And you're like, it's right there. But I'm no different. I'm always painting the thing that's happening in my life or how I'm feeling, or, I mean, that's an exciting thing about art, is that's what it's for. We're all doing that. None of us any different. It's the sameness of people that surprises me, not the differences.